Hello everyone, it's me, Endstone Ninja here. Now as you know, I recently made a video on the top 5 rarest skins in Bear Alpha, so I decided, why not do the opposite? So in this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 10 least rare skins in the game. There will be no honorable mentions this time, I'm just going to be going straight into the top 10, starting with... the Undead Coming Zombie. Now, there are two reasons why this skin is in 10th place. The first reason is that it's not very expensive, at around 500 quids, and the second reason is that it's one of the more unique skins in the shop. If you're a new Bear player and you see the shop, and you look at a bunch of skins and notice a random zombie, you might think, hey, that's unique, I should get that. And because of that, not only would you not have to save up much to get it, but it would be unique, which would give people more of a reason to get it. And the same goes for... Bob. Bob is only slightly less rare than the regular zombie, and the reason for this is that even though it's a bit more expensive, Bob definitely stands out a lot more compared to the zombie. I mean, would you pick a random zombie or a weird black shadow creature? I know what I'd pick. Next is Check It. Check It makes the list for one reason and one reason alone. It's really cheap. Check It costs about 150 quids. The reason it's not any higher than this, however, is because it really isn't a very memorable skin at all. I do like the skin for its simplicity, but realistically, you're not going to pick what's basically just default bear but with a different face. With that being said, it's still really cheap, so anyone who's got a bit of quids and is just busting to buy anything would buy Check It, which is, again, why it's here. We actually have two skins that are tied for the 7th and 6th place spots, those being Morris and Dinnerbone. If I had to pick one as being more common, I would pick Dinnerbone, since to me, an upside down bear is more appealing than a bear with a creepy, realistic human face. Not so realistic, but you get the point. Anyways, both of these skins are also here for being really cheap. However, they're also a bit more memorable than Check It. Like, an upside down bear definitely looks more interesting than, I'd say, bear with a different face, and even though Morris is bear with a different face, it's so ridiculous that I could see people buying it. Plus, it's very common, I've seen it in-game quite a bit. Anyways though, these skins still aren't going to be making the top 5, and speaking of the top 5, let's go to the top 5, shall we? In 5th place, we have Cubic. This skin barely gets the edge over Morris and Dinnerbone, and that's because, to me, it's a lot more colourful, therefore people would want to use it more, and they would find it more memorable overall. Plus, the skin is just as cheap as Morris and Dinnerbone, it really does just barely get ahead of those two skins. However, the 4 skins in the top 4 are on a whole nother level in terms of being easy to get. So, 4th place will be going to... Graduate. It should be obvious that this skin was going to make the list. This skin is obtained through the tutorial, which makes it the only skin that is obtained via a badge that you don't just immediately get. Anyways, the only reason this skin isn't in the top 3 is mainly because some people wouldn't even notice the extras tab. Plus, I just barely see people use the skin. It seems likely to me that a lot of people thought the tutorial would be boring and skipped it. However, in the end, about 80,000 people managed to get this skin, which is still a lot of people, so it should be no surprise that the skin's in the top 4, even if it's not making the top 3. Next we have Rusty. This skin is here for very obvious reasons. It is the cheapest skin in the entire game, not counting gears and kill effects, which aren't on this list. This skin only costs 125 quids. It's so simple that if you really wanted to get a skin as quickly as possible, you could go in AFK mode, do the obby for a bit, and you'd have the skin, before even getting bored. Plus, the skin's distinctive orange colour means that it'll stand out quite a bit in the shop, so anyone who sees a skin that cheap will probably prioritize it first. Really, it's a good example of a starter skin, in a way. You buy it early on because you just want to use something more interesting than default or alpha, and then you eventually forget about it as you start getting more expensive skins. It serves its purpose very well, I like it. And this is also the easiest skin to get that you don't just get immediately when starting the game. The top 2 skins in this game are so easy to get that really it's impossible to not get the skins, which I think should say a lot. So, let's go to the top 2. Alpha Bear is so unbelievably easy to get that, like I said earlier, it's impossible to not get it. You get it via a badge. How do you get that badge? By just being in the game for like a second. That's it. This skin is so easy to get that literally everyone who's ever played Bear owns the skin. And despite that, there's a skin that is technically more common than Alpha Bear. That skin obviously being Default Bear. I think everyone watching this video saw this coming. Default Bear is always with you when in Bear. Theoretically, if you really didn't want Alpha, you could join the game and leave immediately. But Default, if you were in the game for a nanosecond, you would still have the skin. There is no way to be in Bear Alpha and not have this skin. That should tell you just how common this skin is. It is so common that you cannot play Bear Alpha for even a moment and not have this skin. Therefore, it takes the cake, or should I say, takes the cheese, for being the most common skin in Bear Alpha. And that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is more of a different video idea. I haven't seen people do this before, but if you like my content, be sure to like and subscribe. My last video did really well, and I really appreciate that, so yeah. The video's gonna be ending here, so goodbye. LOL.